It looks like all the new baby boys over here have been doing really well. So it's been a few days since they were born, and they have just been doing absolutely wonderful. They've been healthy and having a great time out here. So we're happy for that. Could have used a couple does out of the deal. Does are a little easier to sell and a little more useful here, but that's okay. So we have the mama goat here, Lily. We have Goaty McGoatface that you guys helped to name, of course. He's been in here. He's a weathered, so he's a fixed goat. Very, very good pet goat. We'll just keep him around for fun. And then we have Adam, our buck, who he's the father of all the little bucklings here. So we want to separate these guys for a couple reasons. So one of the main reasons we have goats is so that at least once a year we can get some goat's milk. We have been wanting to do some goat's milk soaps and other things. You can use goat's milk for cooking. We're not huge big drinkers of goat's milk, but we have drank it before, and it's actually not too bad. These dwarf Nigerian goats actually produce a pretty decent tasting milk. But the problem is if you have a stinky buck in with your dough, the milk has an off flavor to it and taste. It's just not good. Adam, the buck, is very musty and stinky. So we want to separate him out. And so today we're going to be starting to build some new pastures and working on gates and things like that. This will be the start to probably 2 videos. Today we'll get as much done as we can, and then another day this week we'll finish it up and move them into their new home. And so I'm going to get some fencing out that I have left over from last year. We'll get my tools out, and we're going to be using the same method I used in the fall to build this pasture in the woods. So we're going to be using a lot of trees as corner posts, so we don't have to dig any post holes, and we're going to be using T-posts for the just supports in between, just like we did for this pasture. So basically here's the corner of this pasture that we have. We've got a T-post about every, maybe 8-10 feet or so. And then we also have used trees to support the fencing, but all of the corners are larger trees. Now the goats don't seem to bother the larger trees too much. And we're still gonna be clearing out a lot of this area. And so some of these trees you see getting chewed up here, a lot of these ones are dead. That's fine. We're gonna wanna clear this out anyway, so the goats are just doing us a favor. And so we're gonna clear out some more area back here for goat pasture. This will be a smaller pasture, but just a place where we can separate goats out and rotate them back and forth. Eventually we'd like to have 4 pastures here, and then we could rotate them through the various areas. So we're gonna be working, I've got the fencing over there in the corner, and so we'll start to reel it out. I don't think I have enough to make a complete enclosed pasture here, so we'll go around and just find some trees that we can get out to out there, and try to bring it around here, and we'll make some kind of an entrance between the two, and we'll be good to go. Start moving along here.
Hey, Daddy.
See how much fencing.
Are you gonna put a gate into their pasture?
Yeah.
One of them threw a winter bike and ran on the tree log.
All right, first challenge. I gotta get these rocks out of here. Get my tractor up here.
No way, Dad. You'd have to get it all the way up the hill.
Yeah, I haven't figured out a way to do that yet, though.
Yeah?
The bar.
We need to find some food. So buddy. And I took my weapon and I whacked him right in the head with it.
Oh, wow.
And then I stole Hobo Bob and hid it just that. He jumped on me. Buddy.
Frog. Well, that's all the fencing I have for tonight, but I think this will work out pretty good to put a little gate between these trees. So we've got the pasture that I already have built here, and then we've got the start to the new pasture back here. So we've got this gap. So I'll be able to build a little gate that'll fit right in between the trees, so I don't need to put any posts in. And then my plan in between these pastures is oh, baby goats. Look at them out there. Is to do kind of the same thing here. I'm going to cut the fencing and then I'll peel it back and attach it to this tree, and then I'll put a gate between the trees. So that'll allow a gate between the two pastures, and again, don't have to sink any fence posts. So I almost had enough. I ended up right back here on that tree, and I'm just going to come down to this cherry tree and then come over to here. And so it's not a huge space. I would say, I don't know, maybe 75 feet by 40 feet or something like that. But it'll be enough to contain a buck and his buddy while the babies are raised up in this pasture, so we can get access to them easier. The chickens absolutely love it out here in these pastures with all these leaves and all the decaying wood and sticks and things. There's so many bugs and other things out here for them. So the chickens will be in these pastures also. So the chicken coop will be able to have access to both of these. And we'll be milking Lily soon. She's got triplets, so we'll let her feed those babies for about 6 weeks or so, and then we'll start to separate them out a little bit, 6 to 8 weeks, and we'll milk her maybe every other day or every 3 days or something like that, and that'll allow them to continue to nurse a little bit, but give us a little milk as well. So super friendly goats though. And this one always chews on my microphone cables. Everybody's happy in the woods. I also have a gate to build here. When I put this fencing together kind of in a hurry when we moved in, I had planned to put a gate between these two trees. I think they'll work out really good. This one here is nice and straight, and so we'll have a good spot to either latch or put hinges on this tree. And they don't seem to bother this tree too much. So this one actually looks like it might survive the goat gnawing, so that's good. So if you're looking to milk or raise goats, I did a full video build on this pallet goat milking stand, and man, has that thing been great. It has used to clip their nails. I put them in there to clip their hooves, and also to milk, and so this thing has worked out really well. I would like to put some stain on it so that it doesn't rot, but it's been out in the weather for a couple years now, and it seems to do pretty good. And if you're looking to contain goats, I have not had a goat get out of these pastures at all yet. This is the first time I've actually not had any trouble with goats, and it's because I actually have the right fencing. One of the challenges that I have is feeding the chickens and the duck and the goats all in the same pasture. So if you throw chicken food out on the ground, the goats want to eat it all, the duck eats it all. The duck messes up the goat's water if you don't do it just right. I've got a taller bucket for the goat, so that stays clear. The ducks and chickens will drink out of the awful one. There's just no stopping them. And then I also have this Farmer Brad feeder, which has a little entrance about the size of a chicken's neck there on the front, and I'll show you the inside of it. So it's got a little 90-degree elbow that pointed down there. So we fill this up with feed, and the chickens can stick their head in there and they peck out the food, but the goats can't get it, which is nice. So the goats I feed in their bowl or in separate places on the ground. See, he can lick out just the stuff that's on the edge, but he can't get in there. But the other thing that I learned is fencing for these goats, and this is the first time we've never had any issues with the goats escaping. We've never had any issues with them getting their heads stuck in the fencing, and it's because of this wire. This is a woven wire, it's called, and it is a goat and sheep fencing, meaning that it has the smallest squares. It is more expensive because it takes a lot more wire to make a fence piece. But the goats can't get their heads in here. They can't get through. And because it's nice and tight, because I use that fence puller to tighten the fence, they can't get underneath it. And even though it's only 4 feet tall, they can't climb over it. And so without any electric wire or anything like that, this has been just perfect for these goats. Now the chickens, they'll jump over it. That's 4 feet. They can get over a 6-foot fence if they really want to. So the trick with keeping the chickens in there really is just trying to make sure that they have enough space to range around in here and enough food in there, and they'll stay in there. But they do go in and out and kind of free range through the woods whenever they want. So just some fencing today and a little update on the goats. So new babies, the first new babies born here on the new homestead, and so it's pretty exciting. So we've got to get to work on more shelters and more pastures. We want to be able to rotate these guys around, rotate the chickens around, let pastures kind of regrow and settle, and then allow everybody to have free space and food and all that kind of good stuff. So the woods is very forgiving, and it's also very abundant. There's so much here for these animals, which is just wonderful. It provides protection, and it provides food and shade for them in the summer. It's just really great. So we're loving it in here so far. But lots more work to do. Be looking forward to some gates, some custom gate building. We'll be doing that here shortly, finishing up these pastures, and I'm going to get started on the chicken coop soon, I promise, for those of you who are waiting for it. So I'm just playing around with different design ideas, and I think I've settled in on something, and ready to use some resources that we have here to make kind of a cool chicken coop. So as always, guys, don't forget to hit thumbs up on today's video. And of course, if this is your first time here, if you stumbled upon us here at the SSL Family Dad channel, we do all kinds of DIY things and farming and gardening and homesteading and all that kind of good stuff. So look forward to having you tag along. Hit that subscribe button, and we'd love to have you jump on board. So as always, guys, thanks for watching. Have a good one.